Welcome to my channel. This is the Bloom Room. My name is Chantel, and today I want to share with you guys a kind of life-changing experience I had. It was close to a year ago. If you guys know me, you're probably aware of the fact that I'm interested in psychedelics. I have a video on mushrooms, and I dabble in things, nothing too heavy, but I just want to preface this video by saying I do not promote drug use in any way, and kind of the reason for this video is to be real about the experiences and show that everything is not always this euphoric experience, and it can sometimes be really scary. That being said, I have never had a bad trip on mushrooms. The first bad trip I ever had, which I'm going to be talking about today, is from Molly, MDMA, and it was last year at Bonnaroo, 2019. And I've kind of waited so long to make this video, maybe just because it was such a scary thing for me, and when I would tell people after it happened, nobody really took me seriously, obviously because I was on drugs. But I don't know the response I expected, but it's just like when you're in the shoes, when you're feeling it, when everything is so real to you, being on drugs or not, it's not like you feel super high or anything. It's just like real to you. Anything is real. When you feel those euphoric experiences, that's real. And it's the same when you have these bad trips. So, I just didn't really want to share with anyone because I've never had a bad trip. Most people I told, it wasn't a big deal to them, but it was a huge thing for me. And so now I'm going to share with you guys because I feel like this is some quality quarantine content. I will be making a Bonnaroo vlog, which I'll probably put out around the time Bonnaroo is supposed to start, just for the people to feel like they're experiencing something. But I did go to Bonnaroo last year. I went all 4 days. I guess I'll just start by saying I was introduced to MDMA about 2 years ago. I've only ever taken it at festivals and at concerts. It's a very musical experience. I've taken it a handful of times. Never had a bad trip before Bonnaroo. This happened on Saturday. Saturday, who played was Juice WRLD, Post Malone, Odessa. I was so excited for Saturday. Crazy good lineup. I was so pumped. Saturday morning, I started by eating a turkey leg at like 9, 10. It was really early. I ate a turkey leg. After that, I really didn't eat because when you're at this festival, it's a camping festival. If you didn't know, you're camping in tents. You're outside 24/7. There is no inside. There is no inside stores, inside sanctuaries, inside place to charge your phone. Everything's outside, and it's in Tennessee, so it's hot as fuck. Tennessee in June. But like I said, you're outside all day. We had been outside all day Friday, and the whole point of me talking about the temperature is because when it's really hot like that and you're outside 24/7 in the sun and walking, being active and dancing and shit, it makes you not really hungry. It makes you lose your appetite, which was, I think, my most crucial mistake in this whole setup, was not eating anything after the turkey leg mad early in the morning. Obviously I drank water and shit, but it didn't even really cross my mind that you need to eat something, just because the adrenaline's kicking. You feel so good just being there, being in the sun, being with dope people. So it didn't even cross my mind. My roommate's boyfriend, he came and he got there early Saturday, and he got there and he's like, did you guys hear about that? They caught that guy. And we're like, what are you talking about? And so he starts to tell us that they caught a guy like really close to Bonnaroo. I don't know if he was trying to get into Bonnaroo, or that's what I took from it. And they caught him with a pipe bomb. And so I'm like, right, cool. So that's dope. Yeah, that's in the back of my mind all day long. Kind of really like scary, because you're in this place that you're literally tent to tent with everyone. When you're in Bonnaroo, which is where all the concerts take place, which is like a journey from the campground to Bonnaroo. When you're in Bonnaroo, you're so close to everyone. Like, there's so many people at this festival. It was the biggest festival I had ever been to date. And so I I wasn't really tweaking about the pipe bomb. I was just like kind of in the back of my mind tweaking. So let's fast forward to, you know, later in the day when we go to Bonnaroo. With MDMA, you can take it in a lot of different ways. The way that I feel the best is if I just take like a full dose of it one time and not anymore, and I'll have a good, you know, I'll have a good trip. This day I was taking little by little, which I think was number 2 of my really big mistakes. I was just taking a little bit here and there, and then when it wore off, I'd take a little bit more. And the problem with that is that you don't know how much you're taking. You end up taking too much, which I think is what happened with me. And so we went to the Juice WRLD concert, and I was fine at the Juice WRLD concert. I did notice, this was before, you know, I started tweaking, that it was just like the background imagery and what's it called, the set, like every performer has screens and they have like, you know, visuals going on. There was a lot of fire and like, you know, obviously a lot of artists are, you know, into evil shit, so it didn't really surprise me. I'm just like, damn, you know, it's a kind of creepy. But then we go to a different stage. This is where Odessa's gonna perform, probably one of the ones that I was most excited for. You know, Odessa makes beautiful music, and especially to hear that live, it's like mind-blowing. With Odessa, I think this is when the bad trip started to, you know, set in a little bit. I realized that I was really hungry, and I was more like hangry. I didn't feel good, but it was Odessa, so I was like, okay. I was able to relax a little bit, and then it was just that we were so far back, and the only festivals I had been to was North Coast, Mambi, and Spring Awakening, which are all in Chicago, and they're all pretty relatively small. So I'm used to going to festivals and being, you know, kind of close, and my number one thing was being able to feel the music. At this point, I was still, you know, I was still taking little by little of the Molly, and then I wasn't really enjoying myself at Odessa because we were so far. I couldn't feel the music on my feet. There was so many people, and I couldn't really see either. So it was really, really hard for me to connect to the music. And that's the whole purpose of rolling when you go to these festivals, is because you can feel the music in your body. And I just wasn't really connecting. And finally, they started having some dope visuals, some lights and things like that. And I was like, okay. But at that point, I was just couldn't stop thinking about how I've never felt like on Molly. It's always like a pretty euphoric experience. You know, the visuals, they were distracting me enough so that, you know, I was starting to feel it. After the Odessa show, I started to feel really weak, kind of like, I don't think I was gonna pass out, but I know that feeling, you know, when I'm headed there. And so me and my roommate, we walked for me to go get a smoothie. And this is like when it really started to kick in that I was tripping bad. I've never been angry on Molly. I've never been literally angry, not only on Molly but at a festival. You know, when you go to a certain amount of festivals, you have to learn how to be patient. You understand that people are not going to move out of your way. You're going to run into people, and that's just how it is. It's never made me angry ever. I was angry. To go from being in a huge group to where all you can really see is the people around you, you don't know how far out it goes, to walking through that group, everyone's walking in different directions. There is not like any type of arrows or any sense of direction. Everybody's walking in different directions at the same time, in sync but in different ways. And I was just like, oh my god. It was pissing me off so bad. People would bump into me and I would be like, I would want to scream, fucking move. Like, it was bad. Paired with the fact that at Bonnaroo there is some strange ass characters. There's weird ass people, you know, in crazy masks and costumes, and like people go all out, and obviously there are people tripping. So I think, you know, some people do it to mess with people, but when I tell you, like, just super weird shit. And at this point in my trip, I was not having it. I just remember being like, bro, get me out of here, this is fucking weirding me out. There'd be people with crazy ass disguises and costumes, and like we walked past this guy and he literally screamed at the top of his lungs, "Hi, I'm Charles," or some creepy shit, and I'm just like, and when you're rolling, it makes everything 10 times more weird. And usually it's funny, but at this point it was not funny, it was just like disturbing me. So I get my smoothie. When I tell you I was so like deprived that I could literally sip by sip feel my energy and nutrition and health coming back to my body, like I really needed that shit. I got some type of green smoothie. So then we go to the bathroom, and the bathroom, like on this, by the stage we were at, it was like this huge square of porta potties, and then there was some in the middle. But the problem was that the doors, like, they shut by themselves type thing. Like, how can I describe it? They had a strong ass hinge, so like there's no closing it. When you let go of it, it just slams. So I'm in the bathroom, all I can hear is doof 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 doof, like all these doors slamming. I'm just like, bro, I was like, oh my fucking god, get me out. So we go back to the crowd. Post Malone's about to perform. I was so hyped. Posty is like one of my favorite performers to watch. He's amazing. So I was like, okay, just calm down, you're good, you got your smoothie, you're good. So at that point is when I started to, like, my thoughts were starting to manifest in my reality. I was seeing just a lot of strange events and happenings, and things started to really like weird me out. So first of all, Post starts performing. There's one point in his show where he starts, like, the guitar's playing super loud and crazy, like type shit. While this crazy guitar's happening, his screen starts to show these flames, like these huge flames, and then on the screen it says Armageddon. I was like, that's weird, because I remembered that there was a statue at Bonnaroo. There's like a big ass metal pig statue. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna have a picture, because there's a picture. Looked like this, and something I can't really forget, because I'm like, that's disturbing. That's before I was tripping or anything, but I'm just like, what in the fuck are they on? And that said Hamageddon. So at Posty's show, I'm like, why is there fire? Just like fucking Juice WRLD show. Chaotic energy. At this point, I'm not telling anyone that I'm tripping, because I didn't want to make anyone else have a bad trip and start seeing what I was seeing. I was just kind of trying to look pleasant, trying to not think about it, but this is the point when I could not stop thinking about it. Like, outside I was probably normal, inside I'm literally praying, because this is when I started to have the idea that all of this was a setup. What if they all just like lured us here, you know, took our money, because Bonnaroo was not cheap. It's like fucking $300-$400 a pop. Took all our money, lured us here, you know, all our cars are lined up front to back in lines next to our tents, and they're just gonna kill us all. They just like took our money and they're just gonna kill us all. Because I'm seeing Armageddon, I'm seeing flames, I'm seeing fucking trippy shit, I'm seeing, you know, all these people in this huge crowd, and I just can't shake the feeling of like, I feel like we're all gonna die. I was thinking, what if these celebrities, what if they don't even pick their sets? What if they don't pick their backgrounds? What if the Illuminati or the, you know, government elites or whatever pick these sets for them to give us these subtle warnings to make it funny or whatever? I don't know. And at the end of this, like tomorrow at Cardi B, which is gonna be the biggest show on Sunday, what if like they're just all gonna have us in one place and they're all gonna kill us, like with pipe bombs or whatever the fuck? Like, I just start going down that rabbit hole. Then all my thoughts started to align with my reality even more, and I would be like thinking about the pipe bombs, and then, you know, we're walking and I'd look down and I see pipes in the ground. Just like imagine, like just imagine. Like I'm literally praying. I'm thinking thoughts like, the last time my family saw me, that's gonna be the last time they ever see me. We're all gonna die. Just really scary thoughts, and everything is so real. Like, it felt so real. And I wrote in my notes, I wrote, you know, I believe in signs, and after this I start seeing hella subliminal shit. Like, every time I look up, there'd be some proof that the veil was lifted, and I was finally seeing through this whole big fancy thing of Bonnaroo. I guess what I meant was that before, when you're not on drugs or when you're having a good time on drugs, Bonnaroo looks like this magical experience, this beautiful experience. And at this point, I felt like I was seeing through the veil. Like, this is all just fake. Like, they all got us here and they're all gonna kill us. Nonetheless, I keep dancing through it. It's Post Malone, trying to ignore it. And then my friend Ivy, who I was there with, me and her are standing next to each other. I didn't tell her I was tweaking. I didn't tell her anything. But she goes, what is that? She's like looking behind her. So we turn around and there's like, we were on a really big stage because Post was one of the big headliners. Maybe like 2 miles behind us, I don't know. We just see this 2-story white building, like a building that I had never seen. We walked around Bonnaroo for 2 days now. I had never seen this building. And you know, in the moment, that was probably me tweaking. I'm sure I passed the building plenty of times and it looked different in the front or something, but I'm just like, since when do they have like a building where you can go inside? And in this building, there's just like people on a balcony, and it was like the back of the building, and it's like it just looked like old white people like just watching the show. And so I look at her like, bitch, don't start. And she's like, they're watching us. I'm like, haha, yeah, that's funny. Tweaking. So at that point, I'm like, okay, this is not a bad trip. This is real. Those are like the government elites back there. They're just like watching us, think we're having a good time. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then to make matters worse, maybe 10 minutes later, the same friend, Ivy, she goes, why is there a long line of white men standing behind us? And I look behind us and it's literally this row of old white men. They look like feds, bro. They look like straight cops. And they're just like shoulder to shoulder, like creating a wall. And I'm just like, at this point still, I'm not like, oh my God, like I'm not tweeting like that, but internally I'm like, why is this happening? So at first it's funny, and then I keep looking back and it's mad sus because these men, they're like, they just don't look like they belong. They weren't enjoying the show. They weren't dancing. I'm like, who are these people? Why are they sent here? And it, like, we were staring at them a lot and they wouldn't even look at us. Like, we were literally directly in front of them. They wouldn't even glance at us. I'm like, okay, so here's what's happening. We're not gonna die tomorrow at Cardi. We're gonna die right now at Posty. And all these government elites are standing at this building and they're gonna watch us die. And they sent these cops to stand behind us and form a human wall so that we cannot escape when the bombs start going off. Crazy shit. So, you know, I'm just like, this is so evil. I can't believe I was so excited for this. This is such evil energy, all this shit. So the show ends. Still, I'm not telling anyone what's happening. I'm just kind of quiet. I'm just kind of like, bro, I want to go back to the campsite. Like, get me there. Obviously, when you start walking back from a really big show like that, there's going to be some traffic. So my friend Mina, she was on acid, and you know, she, like, obviously I was having a bad trip, so the things she was saying, they kept really tripping me out. Like, she wasn't making sense to me, obviously, but that was just like super weirding me out and scaring me. And so we're all like trying to get back, and then like from all sides, like we come to this standstill of people back to back touching, like everyone, like I said, trying to go in different directions. Imagine everybody trying to cross paths, but there's so many people, literally so many people, that no one can move. When I tell you there was people screaming like, go, go, like just move. In my head, I'm like, okay, this is it. No, none of us can move. Like, it's really happening. My friend Mina, who was on acid, she was really, it was hard to get her to focus and to come with us. I don't know what she was seeing or whatever, but like finally Ivy's like pushing through, and then all I can hear is Mina saying, no, 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 we can't go over there. We can't go that way. No, we can't. And I'm just like, I'm literally looking at her and I'm like, why, Mina? Why? Tell me. And obviously she was just tripping, but I was too. And I'm like, why is she saying this? What's over here that we can't go to? I'm like, she knows what's up. She knows what's happening. And I kept asking her why, because I wanted her to say like confirm what I was feeling, but she didn't. She was just tripping. And after this, I was coming down. So, you know, obviously when we didn't die, I felt a lot better. So that's the story of my first and only bad trip that I've ever had. This just goes to show you that you need to be really careful about not only your surroundings, but what you can handle, because I'm pretty sure what happened was I was overstimulated to the maximum. So many people, the biggest festival I've ever been to, it's just like you have to be careful and very selective when you choose to do the things you do at big places like that. And even if you want to do it at your house or whatever, you have to be very selective and take care of your body, number one, because everything affects how you're going to feel in those moments. So obviously everything was fine, no one was killed, but it was very real in the moment. And I was seeing many signs. It's not like I was just going down a spiral. I kind of was, but your thoughts are manifested in your reality. So I started to see everything that I was thinking and started to believe it. And you know, you just need to be selective, take care of your body, and don't just do things because everyone else is doing them. You need to think about how you're gonna feel. Obviously no one expects to have a bad trip, but I didn't account for the fact that I would be overstimulated. I thought that it would be fine. And to this day, I don't know if I would do Bonnaroo again. The camping experience was amazing to me. That was my favorite part of it, probably the camping. But just the fact of how many people there are, how big it is, I don't know if I would want to do that again, just because of the experience I had. And I never expected to be so overstimulated or, you know, in that position, but it happened, and now that's something I have to think about. Why wouldn't I? I'm a highly sensitive person. Why wouldn't I, you know, feel overstimulated in this huge crazy place with all these crazy people, you know, on drugs? So that was my trip report, my first bad trip. And if you guys do want to see my Bonnaroo vlog, which would be very long because it's 4 days, if you do want to see my Bonnaroo vlog, just let me know, and I'll continue to edit that and post that soon. And yeah.